Good morning, everybody. We're doing that for the YouTube. Let's do it again. Ready? Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Isn't it great we're on YouTube? We're getting, I was talking to Scott before the service that people are responding from Germany and Italy and India and Australia and South America, all over the place that are watching what we do here on Sunday on YouTube, and we appreciate that. And we also appreciate Isaiah's. Give him a hand. Yeah. We have an important lesson this morning, one that is we've already explored by way of music, and that is the idea of gratitude in action. The idea, everyone say, I am an attitude of gratitude. An attitude of gratitude. Now, what are you giving thanks for? Are you giving thanks for this day, for your health, for your happiness, for your wealth? If we're going to expand our awareness of gratitude, what we need to do as metaphysicians is understand very clearly that the attitude consciousness that we have as metaphysical students is one that says this: I am grateful for it before the world ever sees it. I am grateful for it so as to let it out, not get to it. I am grateful for it because it is already established in consciousness, and that is my reality, consciousness. I don't conform to the world. I transform myself by the renewing of my mind, and I allow myself to understand the truth of my being and understand, as we are talking about in our Wednesday night class with Alan Watts in Behold the Spirit, and that is, we are not one with the universe, we are the universe. I am not one with God, I am God in action. Everyone say, I am a mighty moving power of God. I am a mighty moving power of God. I'm going to tell you how you can be a power beyond what you have ever known before, and that is when you know you are the power, you think as the power thinks, you give as the power gives, and you receive as the power receives. And you understand in that moment that there is nothing but now, and there's nothing but what you are putting into it in the moment. It hasn't got a thing to do with yesterday or tomorrow, because neither one of them exist. It is all now. And our challenge is to do what? Be grateful in the now we're in and let it unfold. You see, the beauty of religious science, as it is in Taoism, is we erase that separation between who we are and our experience. There is no separation. We are one. We are one. And our first step in treatment, there is one life, it's God. And the second step, that life is what? Say it with me. My life. It is your life. It isn't your life because you suddenly became aware it was yours. It's always been your life. Always has been, always will be. And so the challenge is, what are you doing with it in the now? What we need to do is understand it, the principle of it, understand what it is able to do, and then think as it would think. Not think about it, but think as it would think. How does love think? How does success think? How does health think? And then ask ourselves, am I grateful for what I'm aware of? Or is it just some knowledge I'm going to put on my metaphysical bookshelf and refer to occasionally? See, our challenge is to do what? Wake up and know we know that there is a power that knows what to do and how to do it. It is directed by consciousness. Whose consciousness? Yours, okay. So if it's directed by your consciousness, who should be paying attention to your consciousness? You should, okay. Not sit around and find something to blame your limitation on, or your doubt on, or your fear, or anything else on, but to wake up to the realization that whatever transpired yesterday and the result of it was yesterday, and whatever choices I made seemed appropriate at the time, this is a new now. I make new choices, and I define my now and my future based on my current understanding, my current ability to conceive the beautiful, not yesterday. See, our challenge is to see yesterday through what we know now, not try to see what we know now through yesterday. Look at tomorrow through what we know now, not through our fears or our doubts of tomorrow. It was Ovid who said this: I am too high for fortune to harm me. Now, this is not an ego trip. This is saying, Jesus talked about it 2,000 years ago. Everybody say with me, if I be lifted up, everything around me will be lifted up. You see? See, here's the challenge, and you've heard me teach this over and over, as Reverend Dar and Reverend Dr. Cynthia, all of our teachers, Reverend Jane, anybody you hear teach this. You must understand that if you wake up to a truth of you must know it's true of everyone, everywhere, whether they know it or not. And it's not your responsibility to define them by what they don't know. You should define them by what you do know. And then allow yourself to be grateful for that clarity, grateful for that understanding. And all of a sudden what happens? You're Mahatma Gandhi. You're Martin Luther King. You are doing what? You are moving forward, not resisting, but doing what? The power of non-resistance, which is gratitude. I am grateful for that which I know is true, no matter who doesn't know it. I am grateful for what I understand about my life and everyone else's life, and so I'm going to live from that understanding. We find ourselves over and over again referring to the best of ourselves and constantly directing ourselves in the right way if we pay attention to the right way within us. This is why we have classes. This is why, as Dr. Ouspensky said in the beginning of the last century, that no matter how much you understand, you always need a teacher. No matter how much you've grown, you always need a teacher. Every good teacher has a teacher. How many know that? Okay. I've been studying this now 47 years. And I spent a major part of this week exploring a greater and clearer idea. I'm beginning to see more and more the understanding of what Dr. Holmes talked about when he said, the more I know, there's more to know, and I'm grateful for it. The more I understand, there's more to understand. Goethe pointed out that it doesn't matter how far we go in our clarity, that there is that much farther to go. In the supermarket, there was a man who had his cart, and it contained within the cart a screaming baby. How many been there?
Yeah.
And so here's this screaming baby, and the gentleman who was had the cart, and the baby was standing there and said, "Don't get excited, Albert. Don't scream, Albert. Don't yell, Albert. Be calm, Albert." A woman standing next to him said, "You certainly are to be commended for trying to soothe your son, Albert." Man looked at her and said, "Lady, I'm Albert." How many been there? Be calm. Everybody say, "I'm Albert." Okay. Now what is that? Anybody ask you who you are, tell them you're a child of God. I love, Marcus Aurelius said, the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. See? Somebody said, "You people got a new this one of them new religions, huh?" I've got news for you. This is the oldest religion on planet Earth. How many know that's true? To the thinking community on Earth, it is. To people who are not afraid, they don't want to park their brains and depend on their religious life on a story they have to believe. How about the principle that backs up the story? How about the lesson within the story? What if that becomes your spiritual guidance based in gratitude? Everybody say attitude of gratitude. Attitude of gratitude. Walt Whitman, who, if we were going to define our teaching, we could go back to Ralph Waldo Emerson, the great-great-grandfather of our teaching, and then all of his followers, and Whitman was one of them. They were known as the Transcendentalists of the New England Transcendentalists. They were people exploring principle and how to apply it. They had many, many wonderful thinkers of that time. I love it. Henry David Thoreau, all of them. Thoreau, by the way, if you don't know, was Ralph Waldo Emerson's gardener. And all these people would be gathered around contemplating all these great ideas, and he's over there raking, like eavesdropping, and writing, of course. Whitman said this, Walt Whitman, and Whitman never would have been, if you don't know, Walt Whitman never would have been published if it wasn't for Ralph Waldo Emerson. And Whitman is probably known as the greatest American poet. Whitman said on Space and Time, "Now I see it is true what I guessed at what I guessed at when I lopped off the grass. What I guessed while I lay alone in my bed, and again I walked the beach under the paling stars of the morning. It is everything. It is everything. This power is everything. There isn't the power in something else, it's everything, and it's right where you are. When you arrived in this experience, a new experience within the mind of God happened. A new event that was allowing God to create something within itself, out of itself, that could explore and understand the principle of what it was in a way it never knew before. God discovered more about itself by means of me today. God experienced more love than it's ever known before by means of me today. I think one of the great awakenings that I had as a young student of religious science is when I heard Dr. William Hornaday point out that God loves the world, and then he would look at us and say, by means of me, by means of you. Say that in first person. God loves the world by means of me. See, not some far off, I think I'll love this. Okay. I think I'll love this speck of dust. It is the speck of dust that we are on, that we call Earth. Always has been, always will be. I'm Albert. I'm Albert. I direct myself. I think my thoughts. I create. Everyone say, there's a power for good.
There's a power for good.
It is my power for good.
It is my power for good.
It is not somewhere other than where you are. Now, how many this morning can really say there's a power for good, and I'm grateful that I know it's there? So you don't have to get it. Just wake up to it. How many know that every talented person in this planet didn't get their talent from somewhere else? They discovered that they had it, and then they did something with it. They let it out. They gave birth to it. How many know that the world needs your talent? Okay. How many know the world needs your happiness?
Yeah.
How many know the world needs you to be answer-oriented instead of problem-oriented?
Yeah.
Okay. How many know that we are observing right now a whole lot of people all over the world that they're doing what? Operating at the level of negative expectation. And wherever your mind goes, what happens? Everybody say, the world follows. So do what? It doesn't matter what the world's doing. Allow yourself another definition and be grateful for your ability to contemplate the definition and then give birth to it as experience. Everyone say, the spirit of infinite intelligence.
The spirit of infinite intelligence.
Made me out of itself.
Made me out of itself.
And love as its breath.
And love as its breath.
Is my life.
Is my life.
You are the breath of God. You are. And when you're grateful for this awareness and know that something interesting and special and wonderful and intelligent and clear and magnificent in you as you is always ready to come forth in a way it's never happened before, and the world needs you to go ahead and embrace that understanding of yourself and give birth to it as experience. This is our challenge. I love Bob Seger. I'm a great Bob Seger fan, and I think it's great. Bob was a very, very successful musician. How many know Bob Seger? Yeah, Bob. And I don't know if you know it or not. He pulled, when his kids came along and whatever, he pulled back, and Bob was very successful, and he stayed there until his kids left for college, and now he's back.